Good afternoon. We begin at 4 o'clock with a string of threats targeting schools, synagogues, and government buildings around Colorado. The FBI says there have been numerous hoax bomb threats. So far, they haven't found any specific or credible threats. The threats so far have been against synagogues in Denver and Boulder and schools from El Paso County to Estes Park. Students in Estes Park evacuated school this morning and stood outside while police investigated. We saw a similar wave of mass threats of violence with swatting calls a year ago, last February. We'll continue to update as we learn more.
We turn now to a former Loveland police officer who wants out of prison early. This after being convicted of assaulting a 73-year-old woman with dementia during a violent arrest.
In 2020, Karen Garner was thrown to the ground and seriously injured after she left a Walmart with about $14 worth of items. Once again, former officer Austin Hopp is asking the parole board for an early release instead of fulfilling his 5-year sentence. 9 News reporter Janelle Finch talked with Garner's daughter-in-law. She's not happy with this request.
Karen Garner's family want people to remember her as more than just an elderly assault victim. She was also a mother and grandmother to 9 grandchildren. And her daughter-in-law says she deserves justice for the injuries she obtained at the hands of Loveland officers. Former Loveland officer Austin Hopp has spent nearly the last 2 years in prison for assaulting Karen Garner. During the 2020 arrest, Garner had her arm broken and shoulder dislocated. She passed away at the end of November 2023, but her family is still seeking justice on her behalf. According to the State Department of Corrections, Hopp could be released on parole as early as April. That's just 1 month shy of 2 years of his 5-year sentence. Karen's daughter-in-law, Shannon Stewart, says that's not enough.
It's not about what we want, and it's not about what he wants. It's about what justice should be. And there are sentences that carry along with crimes. And for this felony, he ended up plea bargaining down to 2 to 9 years, and he got 5, and we think 5 is sufficient, and we'd like to see that be carried out. That's what the law says.
Karen's family is expecting to hear a ruling later today or tomorrow on whether or not the former officer will be released on parole.
And we'll wait for that. Her family has done such a good job of at least keeping her name and her story out there in the public eye.
Absolutely. This has been tough for them since the incident happened. But like said, they are seeking justice on her behalf, even if she's not still here with us.
All right. Thanks, Janelle.
Second week of January, and boy, it's feeling like winter across the metro area. As you take a live look at Denver, though, you're seeing some sunshine, and we did get up into the 40s today, but there could be some snow flurries tonight, and some very cold temperatures are coming our way. Lauren Robinson with us now. Lauren, it's definitely felt like January for the past few days. There's more to come.
That's right. Well, today and tomorrow, we're going to see some mild weather. We did make it into the low 40s this afternoon, but we've also seen very gusty, chilly winds all day. So it actually only felt like the lower to middle 30s. It didn't actually feel like the 40s out there. Now, as we go through the rest of the evening, we're certainly going to see that cloud cover really build in across the Front Range and Eastern Plains. Maybe a few snowflakes make their way into the Front Range, but the heavier stuff is certainly going to stay to the west, where we do have winter weather advisories in place for central and northern portions of the high country. These will be in place tonight through tomorrow morning. Now, as we take a look further south, these wind chills have really been a big deal. And in one area specifically, we already have wind chill advisories in place for overnight tonight. This is going to be the San Luis Valley, where wind chills could drop as low as 30 degrees below zero. So over the next few days, we're going to see strong gusty winds, and that's going to make it feel a lot colder than what the thermometer may be reading. We're also going to watch for this next system, very large, pushing in off the coast of the Pacific Northwest. That's going to bring in some snow chances. We're already seeing it build across portions of the high country. I think that's where it's mostly going to stay. But coming up in my full 7-day forecast, we're going to talk about the continued mountain snow. We're also going to talk about some Front Range and Eastern Plains snow chances, as well as a bitterly cold weekend ahead. All of those details just ahead.
You know, former Denver School Board Vice President Aon Anderson now is suspending his candidacy for State House District 8. Anderson says the step is to maintain the legacy of black leadership in Colorado's House District 8 by preventing the dilution of votes in a highly contested primary. In dropping his campaign, Anderson is now asking the public for $30,000 in donations to start a new education-focused nonprofit. Well, after 9 News raised some questions about those finances, Anderson expanded in a disclaimer, saying that the 2-week-old effort isn't an IRS-recognized nonprofit. if you've ever been a student or had a student renting an apartment near a college campus in the metro area, the chances are they might have interacted with a company called Fourstar Realty, and the chances are they might have left that apartment without a big chunk of their security deposit.
Today, the state announced a $1 million settlement after an investigation found they charged tenants fees without notice and used security deposits to fix wear and tear. 9 News consumer investigator Steve Steger is joining us right now outside Fourstar's offices in Boulder. And Steve, this is a first of its kind of case.
Yeah, this is the first time that the state AG has stepped in a case like this. It was born from complaints filed by people here in Boulder, students, parents, even the university itself, about outrageous fees charged by Fourstar Realty, the company there behind me. The AG's office says an investigation of Fourstar Realty found the company often kept all or most of tenant security deposits to do things like repaint and clean carpet when it needed to be done. I talked to one parent this afternoon who had a bill Fourstar charged for that security deposit to replace light bulbs, adjust a toilet handle, and repaint her daughter after her daughter only lived there for about 6 months. Boulder DA Michael Doherty reported this all to the Attorney General's office after his office got a number of complaints. Complaints like that Fourstar was charging a rekeying fee to change the code on electric locks and charging a $50 move-out coordination fee without letting anyone know up front that they would be charged for that. State law says you need to be made aware of fees before you sign a lease, and that your security deposit can't be used for wear and tear.
When a company comes in, when a tenant's left the property and they're caulking tile or painting walls or fixing loose doorknobs, whether or not the tenant actually caused any damage to the property, what they're actually doing is maintaining, if not improving, the value of the rental property so that they can use it and market it and rent it again in the future. But they're doing it on the backs of the tenants who've already left.
Now, Fourstar Realty, in a statement today, denied the allegations in this settlement agreement by the state AG and said that the only reason they entered into the settlement was to prevent a lengthy court battle. The company's CEO said in a statement that this will create changes within the industry. This settlement will create those changes, and he said, quote, "We look forward to leading the industry in adapting to those changes." Coming up at 5, we'll hear from a couple of parents of CU students who saw these hefty fees for things like, again, a toilet handle that needed to be fixed, doorknobs that needed to be adjusted on some apartments, things that the state AG and the Boulder DA say should not be part of your security deposit.
There are some stories out there, and then you talk about the rent in Boulder, period, and there's not a lot of groups that there are realtors and leasing agents just in Boulder, so you're kind of stuck in some cases.
Yeah, it's rather amazing, Kim. You know, one of the parents we talked to for the story coming up at 5, her son was in one of these apartments, had a bad experience with that security deposit, then had to go look for something else, and the only unit he could find was another Fourstar Realty property. So she's hoping some of these changes will kick in before his security deposit on that unit is up. We'll hear from her coming up at 5.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Steve.